Good morning. How are you all doing? So yeah, today I'm kind of working, not kind of, I am working towards getting another playtest of the game ready in the nearish future. So just going to be going through and tightening some things up, just doing a bunch of random improvements. Maybe we'll play test, like I'll just play test on stream a little bit today. I'm not exactly sure, but we're just going to kind of go with the flow and figure out what to do. I think there's one or two things that I do want to do in the backlog here that I will take a look at in a second. But before I get into it, I am working on Alchemortis. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you can use alchemy to create your own builds. So if that sounds interesting, give it a wish list. I would appreciate that. You can also support me on Patreon. I am self-funded, so every little bit helps. And if you subscribe to this top tier for at least 1 month, not only will you be supporting the game, but I'm going to send you an Alchemortis Steam key for the full game when it launches on Steam. So that way you don't need to purchase it separately. So you can think of this as a pre-purchase. And as a thank you, your name will be placed in the Alchemortis credits. So that is an option for you. You could also subscribe to the supporter tier here. That will get you playtest access, as well as access to all of the exclusive video content that I've been uploading this past week and a half or so to Patreon. So if you want to see how my translation system works or how the grid system works, get an overview of those things, you can join the Patreon to see those. And I've got my courses. So anyway, everything's linked below for anyone who wants to check it out, and we can get right into it. Let me see. I'm kind of lost here. All right. Anyway, hello, Clickertail. Welcome. Good to see you. Rookie Tookie, welcome back. The Malicious Rabbit, good morning. Good morning. Emerson, welcome. Are you going to play Subnautica 2? I mean, I didn't really play. I didn't play the first one, so I don't know. Subnautica has not been a game that has ever like piqued my interest that much. I realize that it's a good game. A lot of people say it's a great game, but it just, I don't know. It just too much water, right? I don't know. It's just there's something about the game that never appealed to me. I guess the fantasy that they're selling is just not in my wheelhouse. Now, if it was a Necromancer game, yep, I would have bought that. Anyway, so let's see. So we want to add a new game button to the main menu to abandon a game without going to the run first. Well, I can show you first what I've done. I've done some things. So I fixed a tooltip update bug. So I don't remember who it was. Somebody posted in the Discord that the tooltips were sometimes out of date with respect to like the turn cooldown and stuff. So I fixed that. I deferred the tooltip update until after all the abilities are updated and everything. So that should be working. I did add a quick sell hotkey. And for those of you who weren't here yesterday, I also did add a quick move to alchemy hotkey. So I'll show you those things real quick. Add item. So if I press shift click, that sends the item right over to alchemy. And if I just normal click, that just does the quick move between your inventory and your combat board. But you could shift click from anywhere. And actually, that's a good point. I should probably test something here. What's going to happen here is, actually, let's do booster. I think I figured out a bug already, so maybe we'll fix that. Oh, booster is 8, I think. Here we go. I think if I quick move an item from the booster here, it's going to go straight into the alchemy, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it's not working. Oh, interesting. I wonder why that's not... So I was expecting a bug to happen and it didn't happen. That's almost worse than seeing a bug happen and not knowing why it happened. I'm just going to assume there's some kind of like alchemy container. I'm just going to assume there's some kind of block on that board. Let's see. How would that block even be added? Oh, board is publicly accessible here. So I bet if we trace this back... Oh no. Never mind. Why isn't that working? So I was expecting it to be when I hold shift and click here, it's going to send it to the alchemy board, which is off screen. But that didn't happen. Why didn't that happen? We're going to go on a tangent for a little bit here. I am baffled. Why didn't that... So I don't remember including any code anywhere that would do an explicit check or disable the board in some way. Maybe it's in the board manager. We have a reference to the alchemy board here. Get alchemy board. No. I don't know. Maybe it's not worth going down this rabbit hole, but I'm really curious where that's happening. Do I have like a, let's see, collapse all, emit inventory closed, close alchemy. What does this do? Alchemy drawer. Alchemy drawer. Is this what's handling it? Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. So a board placement lock is being added when the alchemy drawer is collapsed. Okay, that makes sense. What doesn't make sense to me necessarily is why is the drawer responsible for that? I guess that makes sense. I was thinking maybe it would be more sensible to have the alchemy container manage that, but maybe not. Okay, anyway. The important part is I found it, and I guess I already fixed that, so. That's happening a lot more recently where I'm like, wait, there's going to be a bug here, and then I go and I realize that, oh wait, I fixed that bug like 4 months ago. So it's getting to the point where I forgot all the bug fixes that I made, to the point where like I rediscover the old bug fixes somehow. Okay, so anyway, the important thing is that it works. Anyway, so we got quick move to alchemy. Then I also, if I hit control shift or command shift, control shift click, that's a quick sell. So now you can quick sell everything if you want. There was a little bit of an interesting anecdote on that. So originally when I was working on the quick selling, this is the sell code here. Originally, I was just going to take basically, 80 or 90% of this code here, and I originally put it into its own method so that I could just call sell card on anything, anywhere. And what that would do is that would just remove the card from the board and play those blood effects and all that stuff. But I realized after doing it that way that there was a problem. And the problem is that there are multiple events in the game which rely upon the card transferred signal to advance. So for instance, in the booster here, I have to choose an item from this booster. I have to transfer an item from this booster board to one of these boards before the booster event advances. And so what I originally did with my implementation for selling is I just freed the card right where it is, and then just added currency based on that. The problem is that bypassed the card transferred signal entirely, and you could get soft locked in like a booster event or an upgrade event if you were to sell the thing that you're supposed to like transfer to another board. So I think it's I think upgrade is 7. So for example, I could get soft locked by upgrading an item and then selling it in the upgrade board. So if I did that and upgrade it And then if I were to sell it here, that would create a soft lock situation. So I was like, well, shoot, what am I going to do about this? And what I ended up doing is, it's kind of hacky, but I ended up let's see. Card mouse events manager, where is that? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so what I did is I actually just hooked into this system to, I wrote this try immediately transfer card so that I could get that card transferred signal emitted. And what this basically does is it's just instantaneously, now wait a minute. I think I did this a little bit wrong, but basically just taking that card and placing it in the sell board, and then that triggers the card transferred signal. And so the card is technically always ending up in the sell board when you initiate a quick sell. And then I just moved the visuals over to where it was last to make it look like it was sold at that spot. But so like under the hood, when I do this quick sell, that's moving into the sell board, and then that action triggers the sell flow. Now, I don't think I need this here. That's the thing that was confusing me. And also, I think I didn't clean up some of this stuff. Like, I don't know. So, quick sell requested in player inventory. Yeah, I'm not sure that this... Try immediately transfer card. Yeah, so I guess I just made it to handle both cases. So if the card is placed manually on the sell board, that situation is just handled in the logic here. So it will say if the owner board of the card from where you're selling it is not the sell board, then we're going to immediately transfer the card over to the sell board, and then we're going to just proceed as normal. Now what that does is that will actually trigger 2 sells. So I actually just had to guard that. So I think there's probably a better way of doing this. I don't know why, honestly. Why did I not? I might clean this up actually. Because I think what I could do is I could just have on quick sell requested. I could just do I think maybe the position is related. Yeah. So if I just did a try immediately transfer card, like I could in theory do this, take this line here and just put this in the on quick sell requested. And what that would do is that would just indirectly trigger this on sell card placed. And so it could just be a very nice linear flow instead of both of these branches going into sell card. But I think the problem there is that when a card is placed on a board, it emits a board placed or a card placed signal, and then the board visuals snap the card into position. So I need to be able to capture the position of the selling card prior to actually transferring it over to the sell board so that I can restore it down here. So that's the entire reason why I'm not doing a more streamlined thing there, why I have to make sure to prevent against double calls of sell card within the within the same frame. So anyway, do you plan on making any more C# tutorials? Your grid puzzle course is the thing that's been most helpful for me learning Godot. Thank you, Leo Raynard. Appreciate it. The answer, I'm just gonna give you the honest answer. I hope that I don't have to make courses ever again. That means that that doesn't mean necessarily that I won't do it, but you know, I'd rather be spending most of my time making games and making money from games explicitly and not courses. But I do enjoy making the courses on occasion. It's just I wouldn't be able to do it as like a full-time thing, or like I wouldn't be able to do like 6 courses a year or whatever. But I mean, you know, I guess it's possible. Like everything's possible, right? I'm definitely going to do more like shorter tutorial videos on like YouTube and stuff in the future. I love doing that kind of stuff for sure. So it's just that the courses that are like, you know, 15, 16 hours of video content just take a whole lot of work. And you know, that's time that I'd rather be spending making a game because my game is profitable and so on and so forth. But like, I'm not going to stop creating educational tutorial content. I'm just not, I don't know if I'm going to put that level of effort into future things. Because I think, you know, because people ask for certain types of courses, but oftentimes what they're asking for when they ask for that is like, they just want to learn a very specific thing, right? Like they're not necessarily interested in like the start to finish process of making that kind of game. They just have a question of like a particular system of that kind of game, right? And so I think I could just do like a more targeted like set of YouTube videos where it's like, here's how to make an inventory system, right? Here's how to design a player character or a character controller for a twin stick shooter, right? Like those more narrow things I think could be really helpful and without being as much effort. So yeah, I'm not done making educational content, just the courses are a big effort. Hello, Snupbill, welcome. With the message Yummers, welcome back, good to see you. Hello, Arion, Eternal Spectre, oh no. Bummer, but that makes sense. Thank you for live streaming most of your development, even though a lot of it goes over my head. Yeah, for sure, you're welcome. Koromon, I still don't understand the deal with the Koromon. Am I being trolled? Am I being trolled? I feel compelled to read it every time, but then there's like there's no surrounding context. But welcome back, Sonia, anyway. It's time for game dev once again. Hello, Jacket Daytona. Welcome, welcome. I agree with you. Yeah, shorter tutorials about C#, Godot, C# vids is nice. I'm really liking doing the more like high level tutorial stuff too. Like, you know, the rendering server video that I did, I just kept that like very high level. I didn't go into like super great amount of detail, and that video popped off. So it's like, maybe the thing is just like point people in the right direction. Because not only is that easier to produce as a video, but I think that's also probably where a lot of people are, right? Like they don't need line by line, especially the more experienced game devs, right? They don't need line by line tutorials, but they just need the overall structure and general approach for some kind of system, and then they get it, right? Hello, Cat. Do you mind? What is your deal? Hello, David Martinez. Welcome, welcome. Koromon is a great game. All right, so anyway, what was I going to do? I need to do obelisk translations. That would be a good one to do. We got some fun ones to do. Rework combat tooltips to not be so long. Add more stats. I might, okay, I think we're getting an idea of what we're gonna do here. Armor applied. Okay, so I'm just coming up with a big list of additional stats to show in the run overview screen. So maybe we'll make this stream kind of just like we'll work on tracking some statistics and whatnot. I do want to do this one. Okay. All right. First of all, let's finish Leviathan. Yeah, I think that's fine. So Leviathan is almost finished. I'm just going to slap a couple more random abilities on him. I might do something ridiculous, actually. I might give him just a straight up echo. Let's see. Ability builder dot echo. So I don't think any other item in the game currently just has echo as an ability. Now that might make it too appealing to like try to pull echo off of him, but he's also got a large list of abilities, so it's a little bit riskier. Echo. Ooh, let's give him a swarm ability. We could swarm the echo. Is there a lot of, let's see, is there a lot of swarm for damage? Let's see. Battle standard. Oh, swarm damage, okay. Swarm blind. Swarm bleed. Damage bank. Swarm poison, swarm heal. We need more swarm items for sure. Let's do ability builder dot swarm. Swarm speed would be a good one. Maybe confuse. Card. Leviathan. Confuse. Base confuse count. I think I do need to rework confuse a little bit. Sometimes I do know a concept of which piece of code works, but there are some stuff in the engine IDK even exist I need to use or achieve the effect. Yeah. Swarm shield works. Yeah, you could, yeah, I could do swarm shield. I think confuse is still a little bit too strong. So I probably should rework confuse. So we're gonna have to figure out how to, yeah, I gotta rework that because it's a little bit too powerful. But that's okay, we'll just give it... Oh. Okay. Hello, Liviguard. Love your videos, working on my first game right now. What's a good app for making a code chart? Oh, like a UML diagram? I don't know, I don't really make those kinds of charts, so... I wish I could help you, but I'm not aware of any good tools. But I think you're talking about a UML diagram, right? I think you could do... Oh, let's see. Okay. I think you could do probably, I mean, there's got to be like offline or local first software that allows you to make UML diagrams. UML, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry. Yeah, I don't really, I'm not up to date on like what the best tools are to use in that space there. Oh, I need to build the translations. Often do you edit an ability or add a new feature that breaks the game? It happens quite often. Well, I mean, it depends on what you mean by breaks the game. If you mean it just outright doesn't work, that almost never happens. But breaks the game in terms of like is way too strong, that happens quite a lot. So usually, like, I mean, the way I've been doing the playtest is I just kind of like, I do my own playtesting, I get the game feeling kind of good, and then everyone else kind of like explores all these other builds that I couldn't have possibly explored myself. And they find things that are like overpowered, like, you know, this item is particularly strong, or like this ability type is particularly strong. Do you have a video on how you make the cool UI effects? If not, will you? I could do something like that, yeah. I don't have a current one currently, though. Sprites you have are so awesome. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All hand drawn by me. Every single item in the game. All of these plus all of the enemy items as well. With more to come. I'm really glad I did this. Like, I got a bunch of comments about on the rendering server video that I did, which is basically how to optimize this screen. I got a bunch of comments saying like, why did you go through all that effort to display everything at once? Like, why not just like have like a lazy loading scroll container or something? And it's like, okay, I understand that, but that's like a peak case of like programmer brain, right? It's like the whole reason I wanted to do this screen is because it looks cool. And also, this is going to make a really good screenshot for the store page, right? It's like, there are other considerations beyond just solving the problem at hand, right? There are artistic reasons to do things, marketing reasons to do things. Looks great, thank you, yeah. You can tell it's a work of love for sure. Yeah, I just think like, you know, one of the problems with my game is that it has a limited color palette, right? And so the typical advice is like, when you're making screenshots for Steam, you want to show a lot of variety, right? You want to show a lot of different environments, a lot of different colors, that kind of thing. But I can't do that because it's like, first of all, there's not like many environments. And second of all, I only have 8 colors, right? And so the variety has to come in like, has to come through the screenshots in a different way, and I think that this is a good way of doing that. Like one screenshot that shows this, it's like, oh, there's a lot of stuff here, right? So, and I'm also thinking about, I can make this even more impressive by including the enemy items in here. I'm actually kind of curious, what does that look like? Let me commit this. We're going all off on all kinds of tangents today. That's okay. What was I doing? Oh yeah, if I go to the unlocks menu, card registry, all IDs. If I go into here, I'm debating if I should show the enemy cards or add them to like the unlocks. So I go in here, there's a lot more cards. So this is every item in the game now, including the enemy ones. So that's like a good 40 or 50% more than the... Oops. Than what was there originally. But yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe I should show the enemy cards, because then you can just see everything here. Wonder what that Steam SEO looks like. Yeah, I don't know. It would be a better game for as much optimization as possible. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I might do that actually. Let's I want to add that to the backlog, not necessarily to the to-do, but make enemy cards unlockable in the sense that the unlocks menu. I think it would be fun. It would make that screen even more cool to look at, and also it would give you a way of like seeing what enemy cards are all in the game and what you haven't found yet. Add a button for both. Would be a nice tab for player enemy filter. Yeah, we could do that. I mean, I could add all kinds of filters to that screen. So if you want to look at like what are all the poison cards, you know. Because I already kind of have that with my internal tool, so I think it would just be a matter of kind of like porting that over to the actual game scenes. Anyway, let's translate these obelisk descriptions. So I've been working kind of gradually on getting everything into the translation file. And the reason is because, like, I just want to get to the point in the game's development where, like, as I'm building the game, like, the translation just keeps continually getting built, like, as a side effect of that. But the problem is not everything in the game is translated yet, or not everything is, like, not translated, but not everything is hooked into the translation system so that it can be translated. And this obelisk configuration is one such thing. So I'm wondering. So I think. I'm going to get, what do you think about this? I mean, there's an easy way to do this. We can do public static obelisk configuration, get options for translations. For translation, something like that. We don't need to do any of this. We'll just do var config is equal to new obelisk configuration, new random number generator, and then I'll just return the obelisk options. So what I'll do is this is going to be, no, we want to return a list of obelisk option. config.lootTable.getAllItems.select x.item return like so. This may need to change, especially if I add any conditionals to this in the future. But for now, this is just creating a new obelisk configuration with just a dummy random number generator, and then it's returning all of the items. Where's my buddy? He's late again. Are you talking about Ninja Link? Hello, Alien Archer. Welcome. Good to see you as well. Will the player be able to unlock some enemy cards, or are they just separate? So there are ways in the game that the player can acquire enemy cards, but it's typically a little bit hard to do so. There's an artifact that gives you a chance to get enemy cards. There's an obelisk power, which has a ability that boosters award extra enemy cards. I do think that there should be more opportunities to do that because I think that's just going to increase the variety. But these are going to be like rarer cards to acquire, and it's so if the enemy has 150 total cards in their roster, it's going to take you a long time, I think, before you get an opportunity to choose all of them, right? Because there's still going to be an element of randomness. So I think it would be cool, like an extra little completionist, like try to acquire all the enemy cards. Or maybe I should do that. Maybe instead of, if I show the enemy cards in the unlock screen, they should only be unlocked when you actually acquire them. Yes, yeah. Are there different starting hands of runs like Inscription? Yes. Character select. So I'll show you what the character select looks like. Makes more sense with that. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, So yeah, character select looks like this. Every character has their own starting items, their own board size, their own health, and their own starting blood, as well as their own starting artifact. So this is the default, like Necromancer character. Here's Brittle Bones. You can see Brittle Bones has more items, has a larger board, but only has 1 health, but he starts with these 2 artifacts, right? Same with Priestess, different board shape, different starting items, different health, different artifact, and with the Courier as well. So yeah, each character in the game has their own little unique starting configuration, but they don't have like explicit passives. So they're not going to be different from each other except for their starting health, like their starting stats, as well as their starting items. One thing that would be cool before unlocking is having it outlined in the obtain method. Oh yeah, yeah, we can do that. Now that the one guy pointed out the animations, I can't stop looking at them. Hell yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you like them. I'm glad you like them. Okay, so the obelisk option here. Let's do public string translation key. This is going to be obelisk option, change to event type toString.to upper. We'll make this really descriptive. Obelisk option description. Let's change this to description template. Okay, and then let's do, where is this red? Obelisk container. Okay, let's do public string description. Well, let's just do localized description. This would be translation server.translate translation key. And then here, this just becomes localized description. Okay. Now let's add a translation group, public const string obelisk options. And then we'll go to the translation generator and we will do generate obelisk options. We're going to do var options is equal to obelisk configuration.get options for translation. For each var option in options, let's just do this. Entries equals that, entries.add. New PO entry, and then we'll take this, put this here, add dissection. Okay. All right, let's build that and then we'll see what happens. What is my obelisk? I think it's 11. No, it's 13. I was wrong. So that's built. We build the translations. If we look at the en.po file, we have all the obelisk text in here now. And then what I can do is change this to 13. And then we can go in and see if it works. Yep, that seems to work. And if we want to be really clear, I can just show you how this looks. I don't really want to do this. Never mind. I was going to edit this text, but anyway, that has to be working because that description template is no longer referenced anywhere where it's going to be displayed in the UI. So it's only the localized description, which is going through the translation server with the translation key. And the translation key is just whatever the event type is here. And actually, I want to change this real quick. This would be toString.toScreaming toSnakeCase.toUpper invariant. Okay. Let's build this again. On that. Okay, so now card upgrade has an underscore instead of a, and so does grow board. Yeah. That obelisk option may be too powerful now, but maybe not. I'm going to knock it down a little bit. Add translation support for obelisk. I would like to support your work. Can you tell me how I can do that? Yeah, there's Patreon. You can subscribe at Patreon if you want. I would appreciate that. You can also purchase my other games on Steam if you want to do that, or purchase my Udemy courses. But everything should be linked below. I appreciate it. Thank you, Alien Archer. I like game dev. Me too. Trees go bark. Welcome to the stream. All right, so obelisk is translated. I do want to see if I can rework these combat tooltips. Wonder if I should try to classify. I think. So the combat tooltips, the tooltips are just a little bit too much. Turn off generate test map. So if I go all the way up here, oops. If I go all the way up here, you see the tooltips are starting to get very long here. And yeah, the tooltips are starting to get very long. So that just looks weird, but also I'm not entirely sure it's helpful to just display all the card names here anymore. So I'm wondering if I just go and try to do just basically summarize like what kind of stuff the board has, like what kind of damage and whatnot. Do I want to do that? The main problem is going to be figuring out how to do that. I might try something very, very simple. So actually, let's do some experimentation here. Let's do some experimentation. I think what I can do, go to my map container. I think I'm going to just do something very simple. Yeah, I think I'm a combat tooltip. Set combat configuration. Combat configuration. So here's what I'm thinking of doing. Every ability more or less has ability explanations associated with it. And these are just like, you know, echo, poison, fire, whatever. What I may do is I may just go over all of the abilities on all the cards, pull out the ability explanations associated with it, count up all of those individually. So count up the number of poison, count up the number of fire, whatever. And then just take like the top 3 results and show that in the tooltip and say like, you know, this has damage, fire, and healing or something like that. And then that will be the tooltip. And then you can still right click on the combat to see the exact items that are in it. So this would become, instead of showing the individual names of the items, it would become like, let's see, what is this? So this would probably be something like heal and swarm or something. Because those are the only two, yeah, those are the only 2 items with ability explanations. So swarm and heal. That would be what shows up in the tooltip. This one would probably be, it would be fire, and then either heal or armor as the second one, and either heal or armor as the third one. That might work. We are so back. How's it going? It's going well. Tyro for real, T-Ro for real. Welcome. All right, let's see how I can do this. Now the question is, do I want to do this in the combat configuration? Or do I want to just calculate it here? Let's do it in the combat configuration. So what I'm going to do here, okay, let me just stub this out real quick. Private dictionary ability explanation. Int explanation counts, like so. And then what we'll do is we'll do private void populate explanation counts. And then we will fill this out here. We'll call populate explanation counts here. And then we're going to need a public method, something like public list ability explanations, ability explanation, get top explanations, or something like that. Return this. So this would actually be, I could probably just do this one right now. So this would be var explanations is equal to explanation counts dot order by, order by descending x dot value, dot take, this is it, dot take 3. So we can actually just make this streamlined a little bit. So we're ordering the values, the dictionary key value pairs by value descending. So the highest one will be first in the list. Then we're taking up to 3. This take method is nice with LINQ because it's, if you're trying to take more than exist in the array or the enumerable, then it just will not do anything. So this is basically take up to X amount. So I don't have to worry about doing like specific checks or anything. And then we're filtering it out to get the key, or selecting only the key property from that key value pair. Then we're returning that out. So this get top explanations, this will be called here. Combat configuration dot get top explanations, like so. And then we'll do the formatting for those explanations in the map node tooltip. So yeah, I think that will work. So the big thing is just to actually populate those counts here, but I think that should be fine. We have the board configuration model here. We've got the cards there. Yeah, so it should be all right. But I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we will fill in that populate explanation counts, and then we'll figure out how to format it on the tooltip itself. But I'll be right back in just 3 minutes, and we will continue on. All right, I'm back. Good morning, Ninja Link. Welcome, welcome. Does that say 450? Oh, wait. Oh, I see. What is... I don't know what that bubble icon is. I'm sorry. I'm still not familiar with how Twitch works, but your 100 stream streak. Dang. Dang. Is that true? Have I been streaming on Twitch for like 100, well, almost 100 days now? Is that true? Because I still feel like I only just started streaming on Twitch like 3 weeks ago. But anyway. 4 to 50 is a channel points. Okay, gotcha. So right now, Ninja Link, what we're doing is we're working on streamlining the combat node tooltips. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing a very straightforward sort of analysis of what types of abilities the enemy has. And we're just going to show the top 3. And that's going to hopefully clean up a lot of those combat tooltips, because it right now, as you're aware, it just shows the name and the rank or the tier of the item. But that's not really helpful unless you know what the items are. So instead, I'm giving a higher level overview of like, okay, this is heavy on damage or poison, or not poison, or fire or something, or holy. And then you can still inspect the board to see the exact items on it if you want. So hopefully, close, there were a handful of double streams, right? Yeah. Okay, so populate explanation count. So we're gonna do for each var card in board configuration model.get cards. Explanations, this is not right. So we're gonna need var explanations is equal to card.get base composed abilities dot select many x dot ability x dot ability explanations. How do I get base composed ability? What the heck did I just do? What is going on here? Okay. Get explanations. Is this distinct? Oh no, it's not. Wonder why that's not distinct. Explain ability types. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll just do dot distinct here. Okay, and then we're gonna do. Oh my gosh, I'm about to turn this thing off. Okay, for each var explanation and explanations. If explanation counts, we're just going to do this. Explanation counts that try get value. Explanation out var count. We're going to reassign it there. Should be easy enough. So for every card, we're getting all the distinct ability explanations. And then for each distinct ability explanation, we're increasing the overall count by 1. That should be it. Because then when I go to get the top explanations, we're going to order by the count descending and then return that. Okay. So now we got to figure out the combat enemies label. So this will be we're going to rename this to combat details container, combat details label. Okay, this label, I don't know why it's not. Oh, I can't expand it. We have to expand this one. Okay. Now here, this one will be 0. I said 0 and wrote 1. 0, 1, and abilities. Something like that. So I am going to need to remove this though, and we're going to do like UI combat details. UI combat ability composition. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I keep doing that. Translation string. Oh, I just realized that's not going to work. Well, all right, we'll just do it the easy way. UI combat ability composition. Three. We're going to do this the easy way. Has okay. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay. There we go. All right. Like it? Nice. Okay, good. All right. Trying to remember how I need to do this. All right, let's do this. Private static string combat ability composition is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. Composition is equal to combat ability compositions explanations dot length. Well, there's going to be a problem here. If explanations.count is equal to 0, combat enemies label. This needs to be renamed to, we're going to get rid of the enemy cards here. I called it details, right? Combat details label. So combat details label. Combat details container. Composition dot, so explanations dot count -1, and then we can do description utils dot format description tr composition explanations dot select x dot description keyword is that right? All right, this combat details label, I need to change this actually. This needs to be changed to a rich text label, and it needs to have BB code enabled, and it needs to have fit content and clip content off. Okay. Any day now. Thank you. Okay, this can be combat composition 3. Well, let's see. Is that gonna work? I wonder if that's gonna work. Only one way to find out. Hello, Simon William Taylor. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Object reference not set to an instance of object. Oh, right. This needs to be a rich text label now. We can check that the PO file was generated properly. Yep. Actually, I should probably add that to the translation group UI. Still not working though. Index 0 based. Map node tooltip 122. Why is this not working? We'll just put a breakpoint here, I suppose. Why can I not highlight this? Thank you. Okay. Heal, armor, and bleed. Oh, do I need to convert this to an array? I think so, yeah. All right, let's try that again. Actually, maybe that won't work. I may need to do something else. Well, that should work. No, that should work. Has fire damage and armor abilities. Yes, look at that. Damage, swarm, and blind. Heal, fire, and damage. Damage, paralysis, and fire. What about this one down here? Has armor and heal abilities. Let's see if I can find one that only has one ability so I can be sure it's correct. Sweet. I think that's working pretty good. It looks a lot nicer now when you get into these. Oh my gosh, 473 damage over... What? Oh. Yikes. Oh, the Archangel Melzahel has a really low cooldown. Anyway. Just regenerate these again, make sure we're up to date. Right. That got moved down here now. Okay. change how combat tooltips are presented. Excellent. All right, we can call that one done. I'm going to change the Archangel. Have a longer cooldown. Okay, hopefully that helps a little bit. Alrighty then, what should we do now? Let's take a look. Probably just add more stats to the run overview here. So yeah, we don't have a whole lot of things in the run overview. No amount of armor applied, so on and so forth. So let's go to the run overview and get that done. Let's see, run save model, max health, run statistics, get damage type, get status type key. Status type, okay. Private static, read only, list, type, ordered, status types. I did not mean to select all that, but that's okay. There is no target type. Oh, this needs to be... Okay, hold on a second. Can I not do that? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Did I really just forget? What? Oh, I just forgot the semicolon, that's it. That was a confusing error. I was like, wait, that's not working? It's all right. Okay, so ordered status types. We're going to set up the labels down here. We can do status type name. Where am I getting the status? Where am I getting the status type names from? Hmm. So interesting. Ability type to keyword. Ability type to keyword string. Okay. I mean, I guess I would just make it the same here. Private static read only dictionary type string status type to keyword. Wow, AI did all that for me. Very nice. Okay, that seems to work fine. This is all going to need to be translated though, so I'll need to figure that out as well. Dang. Anyway, I might change the combat log manager as well. Do I want to change it here? Maybe I don't need to do that. And then this would just be keyword string. I think it makes sense, I guess, to just be consistent, have everything going through the same code. I'm going to rework the combat log eventually, but might as well just fix it there. All right. I guess we'll just take a look at the run overview and see if those things appear. What other stats are you still looking to add to the screen? Enemies defeated, I think, is a good one. Total blood gained. Total blood spent. Hello, Drufus Games. Welcome. Poison damage dealt. So poison, necrosis. I probably shouldn't put necrosis in there, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. Fire applied, poison applied, armor applied, bleed applied. I don't know, maybe I should. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I want to track. I mean, if you have any suggestions for any other stats to track, I think I'm tracking quite a few already. Like not displayed here, but in terms of like the data. Okay. What other stats do we have in here? I want to try something, actually. Oh, it's not going to work. Son of a biscuit. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, so the thing is, I have like a 2-column layout here with number label and label because I couldn't get the table to work. There's a way to do tables and rich text labels, but for some reason it wasn't working, like the alignment wasn't working. The table would be easier here. But yeah, there was something wrong with it. I think I saw like some kind of rich text label table fixes in 4.7, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm using 2 things here. So if I wanted to do something like put a divider in there, I wouldn't be able to do that very easily. Let's just do this. Label.newline. Alrighty. So now I need to do random ordered stats. I think we have the run statistics, right? So we've got here counters. I've got counters in here. Let's see. Combat victories. Here we go. So we could do trying to think of how I want to do this. Okay, let's do this. Private static read-only list. We're going to do string. I'm going to set this up for translation in a second. Ordered counters. Okay, and then here, so we'll just do that for now, just a very minimal set of things. And then what I can do in here is I can do for each var translation key counter and ordered counters, run statistics.counters.try get value. I feel like that's not correct. Get counter. Yeah, I just do get counter here. We're not going to do the TR here. Let me just do the translation key real quick, and then counter.toString or count.toString. So this will need to be translated, but I'll figure that out in a second. Let's run this. DPS for each damage type, resurrection stones used, highest application of damage status and which item did it, non-combat space, most visited close calls. Yeah, we could do all that. Combat victories and deaths. Okay, so let's do this. I'm just going to do something real quick. I think some of these statistics I can already derive, if I'm not mistaken. Resurrection stones used. Do I have a counter for that? Probably should add one. Statistics counters. Oh, I do have it. Resurrection stones spent. Look at that. Is that right? I think that's right? Increment resurrection stones earned with the difference. Increment resurrection stones spent with the negative difference. Oh, right. If difference is greater than 0. Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to be a little bit clearer here. Okay. Okay, I want to do the counters now. Let's see. On statistics, is counters here? Yeah. So we got blood spent, resurrection stone spent. So let's just do that stuff. Nice. I think working with UI is probably my least favorite part of game dev. Yeah, you and me both. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. I am absolutely dreading the day when I need to add controller support to this game, because that is going to be a freaking nightmare. And I did not build the game for that at all. And also, using controllers to navigate a UI is always awkward anyway. And it still needs to support mouse and keyboard. And it should ideally support mouse and keyboard and controller all plugged into the same device where you can easily hop between them. Yeah. Then I got to do keyboard or key map rebinding, all that good stuff. Not fun. Not fun. Enemies defeated, elites defeated, bosses defeated, total spaces visited. Okay, look at that. It's looking pretty good. Do we have difficulty level listed anywhere? That would be good to display. I believe some also said to list the time spent on the run. Maybe even displaying the seed would be good. Yeah, we could do that. I think I have that data. Do I have that data? Okay, let me run seed, run difficulty. We'll put it in 2 places. I just realized something. It would be cool to add like a little copy button here. You could copy or run statistics to the clipboard and just like share them in Discord or something. And then I could put the seed and the difficulty level there too, so if other people want to try that seed, they can just... Well, I actually don't support inputting your own seed yet, so... But that would be cool. I think what I also want to do here is underneath this result label, let's add a label here. This will be difficulty label. We center this. Change the font color to orange. Or maybe a blue. No, it probably should be red or something. Okay, let's add a VBox container here. So we do have the difficulty tier. So I need to grab a reference to that difficulty label. All right, difficulty label, and then what am I doing? Up here, difficulty label.visible is equal to context.runSaveModel.difficulty tier is greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, then we're going to do difficulty label.text is equal to group translation groups .ui run overview difficulty. That's fine. Go all the way back down here is equal to description utils format description tr difficulty text, and then this needs to be description utils dot to Roman numeral. There. Okay. Hello, Walter Kenback. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. I mainly recommended elite and boss victories along with total spaces visited because it gives a much better picture of what region you were in and probably how far into it you were. Things that help give context for that run. Yeah, I can do that for sure. Oops, I forgot to build the translation. And I ran the wrong version of the game. Okay. Oh. Well, then maybe that's fine, actually. Let's see if that shows up now in the log down here. Difficulty 2, yes, nice. All right, let's also do the seed. just for fun, even though the seed will not be supported immediately. I'm going to need to put this in the test here. Okay. Let's see if that works. Then we can add some more statistics as well. Just fill out that screen very nicely. Seed! All right, nice. It just looks like I forgot to add a new line. There's the seed, there's the combat victories. That doesn't seem right to me. I think I'm missing... Oh, do I have one too many new lines? Wait a minute. Oh, I think the seed is wrapping. Oh, the seed is wrapping. Okay. Oh, that doesn't have a minimum size. Maybe this one has a minimum size. Yeah. Dang. So I've changed the width so that it doesn't wrap anymore, but then this one wraps now. I wonder if I could just make this more... Well, I can't make it more dynamic, actually. This is why I wish the table layout worked. But it doesn't for some reason. Because basically I have to have a column here that is a fixed size. And I can't just have like two columns that dynamically change depending on how full they are. Where is this 200 coming from? Do I have one too many new lines? Oh, it's still... I think the seed is still looping. Ah. Well, shoot. I'm surprised it's not making any of these wrap either. Well, I guess we could just leave it as is for now. Figure out what to do with that later. All right, what were the other things? Highest application of damage. Non-combat space most visited. Close calls. Close calls would be a good one. We can do event types visited, I think. I'm just wondering if I have a method to convert event types into string names. I guess I don't. Okay. Okay, so total events visited by type. I need like an plain like English name for all these things. Might just have to manually write all of them. It's not too many, but I need this to be translation supported as well, which is the problem. I don't need to translate this all right now, though, so we'll just put this over here for now. So we did the run difficulty, we've got the run seed, we've got the enemies defeated, fire, got all this stuff. So highest damage dealt, highest poison maintained, highest fire maintained, highest armor. Favorite card? Question mark? Or anyway, we'll do events visited by type. Okay, so we've got a lot of good stuff to do here now. Put this one here. Some of these are going to require additional tracking logic, but I think it's going to be really fun. Actually, one thing that I want to do before I do that is shoot, I actually don't, it's going to be a little, I kind of want to do it. I mean, what do you guys think? Would it be fun for the next playtest to be able to copy and paste your run statistics into the Discord? I kind of want to add that. I think that would just be, it's not like important at all, but I think for the purposes of like community engagement and people being able to share their builds. Yes, okay, all right, I'll add it. So the one thing that's going to be a little bit tricky about this is that when you build a rich text label, like what I'm doing here, where is it? Here, when you're doing like append text and append text, that's not actually updating the text property of the rich text label. So I can't just get all that text back out. So I actually need to maintain my own my own list, basically. And it needs to be made in like a 2-column layout, which is a little bit tricky. I mean, this is like a classic programming interview question, right? It's like, here's a bunch of lists of text and we want this to be printed in a table layout with like even space in between all the columns and everything. Oh, I didn't know those programming interview challenges would actually be real. But I guess that only really applies for like a monospace font anyway. I don't know. Maybe I won't present it that way. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go that deep with the run statistics. I mean, yes, I can show the highest single application, but as far as like tracking which card did that, that's going to be a little bit of a nightmare to do. Or if you were just talking about, well, I guess it would always be the player applying those things. The highest instance of damage. So this would be like, so yeah, we could just group it by type if we're going to go into all those things. Hello, Tan Talking, welcome. Good to see you. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I want to figure out how to do the copy button and how to represent the text in a good way. Let me think. I might rework how this code is working a little bit. Okay, anyway, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we will rework this a little bit. We'll try to add like a little copy button, because I think that would be fun. And then what else? Yeah, we'll just see how that goes. So I'll be right back in just 3 minutes, and we'll continue on. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I'm going to try to generalize this a little bit more. I'm going to do something like private record, statistics entry. We're just going to do public string label, get init. We'll do public required string. Oh no. Yeah, that's probably fine actually. I'll just explicitly set this to null. Okay. So now in setup labels here, let's actually move this closer to the bottom. Generally speaking, the way that I like to set up the order of my methods is that if it's a script for like a UI, for example, I try to make the script kind of follow the same flow as the UI layout in terms of the ordering. So like any part of the script that affects what happens on the top part of the board should be near the top of the script. And anything that affects it, the board below, should be at the bottom of the script. Now, obviously, you can't do that perfectly because the code is different than the UI, obviously, but that's just something that I try to keep a little bit of consistency with like the order of things appearing in the scene and the order of things appearing in the script. Kind of helps a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. Var entries is equal to new list statistics entry. Okay. Let's move this entries down here. So I may actually do this as a separate method entirely. Okay, so we got entries here. All right, so instead of doing this, we will do entries.add label and then damage dealt.toString, and we can get rid of all this stuff. See? Damage type to keyword. Oh, that's where I was wondering where all these extra strings were coming. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, anyway. So damage type to keyword. So we got keyword damage dealt. And then what we'll do is we'll do entries.add string.empty. Entries.add there. Add an empty entry. Here's what I'll do. Statistics entry.empty, and then I can just copy this, paste that there. Entries.add. Okay, so we've got all these entries now. So what I can do now is for each var entry in entries, we just do that, but this can be description utils dot highlight keywords. That. I think that's right. So it's a little bit nicer. Yeah, that should work. Anyway, let's see what that does. Hello, Moneybags. Welcome, welcome. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Hello, I code for food. What VS Code theme is that? It is Dracula. Good old Dracula. Oh, this difficulty is not being replaced. So where's the difficulty? Oh, difficulty. Right, so this would be format, description. Oh yeah, this is a little bit weird because I want to do this one here. And then this needs to be string.empty. Hello, Unbanned Vlada. Hello, welcome. At my desk job, so it could be better. Would much rather be making pixel art for my game. Yeah, I understand that. I understand. Oh, I don't need this to be here. Yeah. All right, so difficulty 2, seed, combat victories, deaths, blood spent, resurrection stones spent. Cool. Oh yeah, the problem is that, yeah, right, if this wraps, that's not gonna work. So I think I do need to figure out like a table view. Anyway, I don't know why I streamlined that way. I guess it's just easier to add a bunch of entries and then have the text formatting done in here, all in a loop. There was something else I was thinking that would help with though. Oh, events visited by type. So I can do that one as well. But I gotta fix the wrapping here, unfortunately. Gotta fix the wrapping. All right, so there's a BB code table. Google, why do you do this to me? I don't want to do a freaking CAPTCHA. Oops. Creates a table with number of columns. Use the cell tag to define table cells. Okay, all right, so this is gonna have to be label.append table, push table with 2 columns. Let's just go down here and do this. Push cell, label dot append text, label dot pop cell. No, I just pop. Label dot push cell. We do a label dot pop again. Entry dot value. Let me get rid of this. I don't know why this doesn't work, but we will see. Maybe it does work. What happens if I get rid of this number label? Okay. Now we gotta change the cell alignment. We gotta change the padding of the cells as well. Push cell. I don't know how to change the cell alignment. Set table column expand, set cell border color, set cell size override, set cell padding. I'm just gonna try this. That might need to be inside of the push cell or something. I don't know. Do you generally stream work on the game and at set times blocks each day? Yes, I do, yeah. How do you stay disciplined with it all? It's, you know, it's just, I think it's mostly just a habit. Like, I've gotten in a habit of working on it. It just becomes part of my routine. But also, you know, it's a little bit easier when you have a game that you're having a lot of fun with. So yeah, I think in terms of the discipline, I think it's just a habit you can build up for the most part by more frequently and more consistently working, and then it just becomes easy after a while to do it. Current type is not equal to item frame, so maybe I can't do that in here. Maybe it does need to be this. Hello, Bushy Dragon. I want to get your course, but as you said, it's not for beginners. Can you suggest me any prereq for your course? You can look at GD Quest. GD Quest has very good beginner courses. So I would definitely check them out. Definitely check that out. Welcome back to the stream, by the way. Is that cell padding doing anything? How do I do the alignment? Push paragraph alignment. Adds a P tag to the tag stack. I don't know. I don't know how to do this. Can I not right align anything in a cell? Maybe I just need to do... I'm kind of lost. Okay, I can use the right tag. Okay, so can I do right like this? And then end the tag over here? Oh, I did it in the wrong spot. That's okay. I don't know. You're welcome, Bushy Dragon. I think it depends on Firebilly's definition of beginner. I also thought he referenced a beginner as someone that hasn't programmed before. If you know programming, I don't think you'd have a hard time following this issue. Following his courses, I mean. Yeah, that's right. So, like, it's not for beginner programmers, for sure. But it could be for beginner game developers if you have programming experience, at least. GD Quest is great, yeah. I always recommend GD Quest to people who are looking for... Well, I mean, they just have really good quality stuff as well. Like, it's possible that you'll get everything that you need to learn from GD Quest. And my course won't really offer much beyond that, but... Yeah, it's great stuff, great content, great educational resources. Okay, so the table layout is looking better. There's still a gap here. I don't know how to change that. Label dot set table. Set cell padding. Oh, give me 1 second. Real quick, I'll be right back. I heard a weird noise, and that can't be good when there's animals running around, but it turned out to be nothing that I noticed. Will you do any beginner course? Probably not, no. I mean, the reason I did intermediate courses to begin with is largely because a lot of the tutorial content that exists for Godot is geared towards beginners. And so I wanted to do something that was a little bit faster paced because I felt like there was a lack, especially at the time when I made my courses, I felt like there was a lack of like intermediate geared courses where like I don't spend, you know, a whole lot of your time explaining how programming works, and I instead just go straight into like, here's a very thorough explanation or exploration of Godot and how to do things in Godot. So yeah, I very consciously didn't make a beginner course because I think, like I said, there's already a wealth of content geared at beginners. So how do I change the vertical spacing of a table? Oops. Huh? Oh, here we go. We got the alignment here. I don't understand this. This BB code documentation is a little bit hard to understand. Why do I have these gaps in the table here? I don't understand. I want this to be more compact. Can I not control that? Oh, maybe there's like an invisible border. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. Understood, makes sense. I really like the pace of your course. Just that has just the right explanation of a mechanic used. Awesome. Buttoned up, you say. Oh, hello, the button up. Welcome. Yes, there's a whole lot of space. Can I change the... Set cell size override. 0, 0. Vector 2i. What does it want? Min size, max size. Oh. I should add an option to skip this animation. How do I get wonder if I could hack it a little bit. Let's see. Horizontal rule options. Top spacing. Oops. Font top spacing equals 0. This is quite an adventure. Quite an adventure. All right, let's see what that does. I find it hilarious because I'm named Button Up in your server, that's all. Oh, I see. Anyways, I'm going to see about practicing my code. Starting out has been rough. I'll leave you on in the background. Sounds good. I'm happy to be on in the background. Be in the white noise that makes programming a little bit more cozy. Do I need to do this for both of them, maybe? Oh, this is so weird. This is so weird. Like, it has some methods for, like, pushing tags and setting their options, but not for all of the tags. Okay, that didn't seem to do anything. Can I set it to a negative value, I wonder? -4. Is this going to make a difference? That worked? No way. I was not expecting that to work for some reason. Sweet. Okay, now for empty cells, if entry.isEmpty, we're going to do label.pushCell. Then we're going to do label.set cell size override. New vector 2 0 8. Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, these animals. That's an annoying way to make a table, but what works, I guess. Yeah, it is a little bit annoying. I mean, you know, if I wanted to put more effort into it, I could abstract this even more. But at the end of the day, like, this is what needs to happen for the BB text if you're going to build it out manually. I think it would just be a lot nicer if they just had the push and pop for everything. Like, it would be nice to be able to, like, even if it was just something like label.push or append text. And then I could pass in like options here, like height, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that did not work. Oh, I didn't finish it, that's why. Is this for BB construction? Yeah, we're doing BB code for Godot's rich text label. Okay, there we go. So when I have an empty entry, I'm just putting like a little blank line there. Now we've got a very nice table. And I'm still not tracking all the statistics that I need to track. But the nice thing is now I can get rid of this number label. This HBox container can go away as well. And so now we've just got the run statistics label. Okay. Oops, I ran the wrong scene again. Classic. Okay. Yeah, looks good. Cool. So still a lot more to track here, but let's see. Use table layout for or run statistics. All right, let's see. What else did I want to track here? Events visited by type. That's what I wanted. Okay. So I'm going to need to do description utils. I might just have the AI do this. Let's see. I really don't want to manually do this. Public static string event type to keyword string. Okay. Let's just have Claude do this. Claude, take every event type in event type .cs and complete this Oops, I need to put it in edit automatically. I don't want to manually do this. It will do it. So once we have that, run overview. Here, for each var event type in enum get values event type. Oh, this should actually be event type. Whatever. We'll let that go. Event count is equal to run statistics. Get events visited of type. Event type. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll just do entries.add statistics entry. Description utils dot event type to keyword string, event type. Okay. So that's how I'm hoping to use it. Okay, let's see what this does. Cool. Actually, map node tooltip. Oh, right. I already have the name. Oh, I didn't need to do any of that. Well, I'm very glad I didn't do that by hand. This just needs to be event event registry.fromID from type event type dot localized name. Well, shoot. This is not going to work, but I need to translate all this anyway, so. Ah, dang it. Anyway, let's take a look at that, see what that does. I don't think I needed that whole thing that the AI did. This is looking a little bit messy. Can I fix that as well? Is there like a line spacing? Bottom spacing. Oh, I think I should offset this. I actually don't know. So I changed the top spacing. Is that spacing per line? At the top of the line, yeah. Oh. Oh, right, I forgot to... No? Let's just do 0 all around. Once again, stumped by BB code options. So if I do -4 top spacing and 0 bottom spacing, is that just going to be completely messed up? It says it's extra spacing. What? Extra spacing at the bottom of the line in pixels? I'm a little bit stumped here. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why does it balloon so much in... What? So wait. Top space. It says it's in pixels, but I'm not sure about that. Oh, did we get a little blip? I think we might have just had a little internet blip. Sometimes that happens. I don't know why that happens. I think we're still good though. What happens if I do -1 for each one? And then I'll try +1 for bottom spacing. I really don't know what's going on there. If this makes it like super, like have big gaps now, I'm just going to be completely baffled. That is so weird. I don't know. I'm kind of stumped. I guess that kind of makes sense. So if I do -2 was too much, right? Adventures in BB Code, I guess. Oh, that looks decent, actually. Now, what happens if I increase the top spacing a little bit? I'm just trying to make it clear, like, when something has wrapped to the new line. So I'm just trying to, like, change that a little bit. Now, that's really... All I did was just add top spacing 1. And that, like, blows up the spacing quite a bit. So I don't know what's happening there. I don't know why it's doing that. Is this related maybe to the alignment? Maybe if I get rid of the alignment. Okay, maybe alignment was the problem. In any case, I think that's looking pretty good, actually. So we want to filter out start and cleared. So let me just do that filtering really quick. All right, I think that's good. I mean, I'm gonna add more stats to that for sure. I'm not done with it, but I think I've pretty significantly increased the number of stats available, at least. So yeah, that should work. Just tuned in. Populating the rich text label looks rough. Yeah, it's a little bit. I'm getting it now. Like I'm starting to understand it, but it's a little bit wonky, especially when you're trying to construct the BB code with text. It's like, yeah, it's just a little bit weird. That's all. It's functional. I don't know. For some reason, the first time when I attempted to use a table, it just wasn't working. But for some reason, I just got it working now. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Who knows? Who knows? All right. Well, I'm going to end the stream there. That's another long stream for you all. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you like, you can wishlist Alka Mortis on Steam. The link is here in the description below. And yeah, appreciate your support. What else? You can join the Patreon as well. I've been doing Patreon videos, exclusive Patreon videos. So yeah, check out the links in the description below. Join the Discord. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow on Twitch. All that good stuff. And yeah, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.